Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Voices of Tomorrow. If you're new here, I interview new and upcoming musicians who are bound to make it far in the industry. And we have a new shipment of artists here today with two members of the band Freight, Luca Goons and Ted Baker. And please don't go anywhere because we've got special music playing with hits like Ivory, The Only Thing I Know. So make sure to stay tuned for that, and I'll be here to interview Jason McDonough later. Who is your favourite musician?
My favourite musician is Tame Impala.
Amy Winehouse.
The Weeknd.
Levy.
Kanye West.
Thank you guys for being here today, by the way.
Thank you so much for having us, you.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Love the studio space you've got here, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it's colleges.
Yeah. Love everything.
What got you both interested in forming a band?
It's interesting. I mean, I think we were always interested in it. There was always me and Luca just jamming about with a drum kit and a guitar in about 2022. Around
Three,
that
to
time.
be fair.
Two and three.
And 22, yeah,
Yeah.
Because I got a drum kit for Christmas, so Ted was on my drum kit and I was on guitar, and then
we were jamming about on just guitar and drums with some crappy mic for vocals as well. Luca went down to the local pub near us, did an open mic night where did you play some Elvis?
yeah, I did some Elvis. Might call it Pelvis, my version, something like that, and then did that, and they said if I got a local band together, we could play. No, if we got a band together, I could play the local festival. So then I was like to Ted, right, we got to start a band. And then went to Ted's sister, and Jacob, who's the lead guitarist, he was there, literally just hanging out. We were like, can you play? He was like, yeah. And then a month later, we got an Anton, and we just stuck it from there. That summer, we practiced crazy amounts of time because we just were loving it, learning these songs. And he was basically learning how to play the instrument in a sense, because especially me and Ted, we'd only just got onto that instrument. I'd only picked up guitar at the end of 2022, and Ted only picked up drums at the end of 2022. So it was both of us at the start, and Jacob was a bit more advanced on me in guitar, so he showed me basically the ropes and stuff like that, and then we just stuck it out from there basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd it's genuinely so interesting.
Yeah, it's just all went into place. We've been quite very lucky that it all just worked in a sense.
It was meant to happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was meant to happen.
The universe.
Exactly.
We prepped that pub gig like it was pyramid stage though.
Yeah, no, we 8 hours a day every day, bro. In the summer holidays, it wasn't even certain days. It'd just be every day. Yeah, come back. We're doing another one, and we were fueled by our White's lemonade. That's all we'd have. Wow. So there's lemonade.
That's how you know we're real rock stars.
Yeah. And we at the end of that, we actually got told off by the next door neighbour because there was two lads with the gates open and stuff like that. And they were he was on these meetings next door, and he was they were have you got the Arctic Monkeys playing in the background? And it was just us playing the Arctic Monkeys tracks in the next door house. So then we had to get a rehearsal space because he got very annoyed.
Who would you say both your biggest inspirations are in music?
For the band, the biggest inspirations are really varied because we all had different music tastes in a sense. Ted will show me new stuff, I'll show him new stuff. New stuff's in it's old stuff, but new to us. But the band's influences and what we all try and do together are indie pop, indie rock type of thing. So the Kooks, the Vaccine, Circle Waves, that type of summery thing. Maybe Inhaler a little bit, try and get, because we really like their stuff. But those catchy choruses and good vibe, summer is the influences. So really indie poppy. And I think also I'd say the Beatles and the Beach Boys and the Monkees and stuff, because that jingly jangly 60s type of thing. So we try and go for that a little bit. And then and the people that then were influenced by that was the Lars and stuff like that. And then we listened to a lot of Lars, you know what I mean? So they all steal from each other.
Who would you say your biggest competitors are then?
I'd say there's no competitors at all, because as in there's no one that you're in a rivalry with, but there's tons of bands that we're want to be in a sense. We're really influenced by an upcoming band called Arcala, and they're smashing at the minute, and just even hanging around with them is so cool when we're on the same stage and stuff. And I think we don't look at them as a competitor, we look at them we want to get to their level one day of songwriting and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit more of not even a competition, but it edges you on when you listen to that. You say well, someone from around our area can do that, so why can't we do that as well? Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's that type of thing.
So what would you say the hardest part of making it big, would you say?
I think it's like luck, man. I like it. Hard work, and like we do hard work, but we've not even like, it's gonna get so much harder and stuff. But I think it's just really getting seen, and like even when you're signed, it's crazy. Like most people think when you're signed, you've made it, and that's like just the start. Like we're at the pre-start to what we want to be at. Do you know what I mean? So like pre-start doing all these gigs, trying to get a deal or trying to get signed by someone. Then you get signed. Then you're right at the start again, and then the work becomes even more crazy. But I think it's like sometimes seeing the light at the end of the tunnel when you're doing tons of stuff, and like and some stuff when you do it in the industry. And I know from ourselves and like other bands as well, like you'll give so much and so little comes back at times, but what you cling on to is those really amazing moments. Like we were lucky enough to support the K's, and like going down and doing that was amazing, and just then hanging out with them after at the merch table, you know what I mean? That was just like quite cool. We were hanging out with them at the merch table, weren't we? We were on the same thing. That was quite cool. So when you hold on to stuff like that, then it makes it like all worth it.
How has your background in community shaped your sound?
I think, well, at least the background wise is like my mum has always been into indie, like a massive indie. Like when she was younger, like, and she showed me all these bands and stuff like that. So it being brought up with that music, but I was never into. I think Ted's saying we were never into music until like 2022, late 2020, like when we started playing together, because we've been best mates for years, but we just didn't really. Not we didn't care, but there was more important things in our life than of like Fortnite was like the big thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Yeah, no, but you know what I mean? Like we didn't like, you'd hear music and be like, yeah, that's cool, but you wouldn't be like, wow, something wasn't clicked, and then one day it just clicked, and like we got into the Arctic Monkeys and like explored from there. But I think having parents that really supported that, and like firstly were also buzzing for music and would go gigs. I'll go tons of gigs with my mum and stuff like that, which is fun, but then also like supporting the band as well and being like, you can make it as this, you, like, do the effort. And like my mum and Ted's mum are the merch ladies at all the gigs, so if you come to the gig on 28th, the people on merch will be mine and Ted's mum sell all the merch, and we always give a shout out at the gig, like we've got my mum and Ted's mum over there, give us a wave, like to sell the merch. Maybe that's a good way of selling merch.
I think I was going to say, especially with the question about like background and shaping the music, especially being in Warrington, right in the middle of Liverpool and Manchester. It's like kind of the epicenter of, you've got Oasis, Smiths, loads of, everything going on in Manchester, just down the road, and then basically the same distance the other way you've got like the Beatles, and everything could great come out of Liverpool.
Yeah, and I think even just Warrington, like even Viola Beach and stuff like that are such a big influence on us, because they're that same type of summer good vibe sound. Do you know what I mean? And especially when it's like, wow, these people live in Grappenhall, then it's like that's crazy. Like we can do this. It is possible to make it.
Was there a specific moment when you realised you wanted to pursue music like seriously?
I'd say after the first gig. I don't know if you would, Ted.
For me, I kind of just like fell into doing the band. I'm not saying that's like a bad thing.
It's awful.
I'm not complaining about that. But it was just like, because like Luke was saying before, before it clicked with music, before we were really into anything, I was kind of just like doing whatever. So once we started up, it was a bit like, we can give this a go. And after the first gig, I would agree, it was a bit more like, okay,
we can do it.
Let's do another one.
I wanted to be a producer before the band or anything. Or like, no, I didn't know what a producer was, but like, I was like, I want to be behind the scenes DJ or something like that. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Just someone that's like works on the tracks, something like that. Because I didn't know that I could start my own band, and then we did it, and then it's just like happened so naturally that we were like, right, we're gonna do this, and we got a good reception. We were like, okay, if we're writing good songs, then let's keep it going until we run dry.
What challenges would you say independent musicians face today?
Just, I think, especially with like the way music industry seems to be structured at the moment, from what I've observed, it's quite centered around like a very certain image. Like you know, you've got to be putting out a certain kind of content. You know, there's some people say the label might ask you for however many followers, whatever, which is a bit like, I think it is very restrictive to smaller artists like us who are operating on a local kind of level, trying to get to that next step. It's kind of like, how do you get an edge over someone who's, you know, boosted by a label, got 1 million followers, whatever, and now they're just slamming out the
I think
live.
it's also a bit like, there's always been a thing like you have to have a bit of an image, you know, and like there's been that since forever, because that's what people latch onto and stuff. But it's more like the label isn't as powerful as they used to be because of TikTok and stuff. But they want more than ever from you independently, which is kind of crazy. Like they'll want you to have a following and already doing well before they even sign you. There's not many labels that will sign a young band now right at the start. I'd say there's like 99.9% chance of someone our size would never get signed by a label right now. Before, the labels would take chances, and they still have developments, but like before, when labels used to be just run by like rich businessmen, and even though that sounds awful, that was good because they just throw the money and they'd like take the chance, and if it worked, it worked. They made tons of money. If they lost it, it's all right. The other ones work for them. But now they're run by musos, and the musos think they know what all the trends are and stuff like that. So they won't just throw money. And they also, big advances aren't really a thing anymore, except for if you're like, maybe if you know that Somber guy, he's come out of nowhere. He probably had a big advance and developed. But like most bands, I think people don't realise that even indie bands that are smashing it, like Royston Club, you know that band, they're doing amazing in Europe. They're not going to be earning like crazy money. I think they're able to be full time now, but like not full time having a Ferrari and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like they're full time on a normal wage, to be honest, or normal bit more wage, but they're living the dream.
But where would you guys see your music going in like the next like 5-10 years?
Everywhere. No, I don't know. I think we have a plan that we really think that we could, you know, we're not, I think that there's a fine line between like cocky and confident, and we're really trying to be on that confident side of we believe in the music and what we can do, but we also know that like we haven't written our best songs yet. You know what I mean? I feel like you've never written your best songs, but like we have a song called The Only Thing I Know, and that did all right for us, and like that was a song that's quite a summer catchy one, and people sing it at the gigs, which is really, really fun. But like now we're like expanding the thing of indie pop and really getting some like more unique type of arrangements and stuff like that. So I think first we see writing more, and then in those like 5 years, I'd always said headlining Glasgow Pyramid has been like my thing to do it at like 21 or 22 to do that. But you also then you don't become realistic, but like there's like a certain level, do you know what I mean, of like people like Fontaines, they're the biggest band ever, right? And like they only headlined the Park stage last year, which is mental, to be honest. They still haven't done Pyramid, do you know what I mean? So you have to be so big to headline Pyramid. But that would be the goal, I think, like headlining Pyramid, or just doing major festivals, getting to go with your best mates around the world and eat good food. That is it, man.
Incredible.
Wouldn't that be fun?
And eat good food.
I think maybe eat good food, number one. Get paid for eating good food. Get paid for playing some songs with friends.
Pyramid stage about 5.
Yeah.
Your latest track is called Ivory.
Yes, yeah, it is.
What is what's the story behind
The story? That was actually a date. That the whole day was a date that I went on with my then partner to a beach date, and it was like when we wrote it, I wasn't thinking I'm going to mention about the beach date or anything. It came out of nowhere because Jacob had this riff, and then we all just played our parts, and like it felt like in 5 minutes the song was done. And then I was doing the lyrics, and Anton was just like being like not my yes man, but in a sense of like I'd say, what do you think of this? And if he said that's alright, then we put it down. So like we wrote that song, and it was on the basis of like, so that lyrics like it's so windy, hand in hand, beautiful eyes, like all that is about the windy beach date. Like we went, like I think it was in Wales or something like that, like and then we just had this like lovely day. But it was not like in a way of like a sad song. It was always, even when it was written, like a to us it felt like a really happy, nostalgic song. It wasn't just that happy-go-lucky type of thing. It was more like happy nostalgia, because I think it was also like a love for just like how magic it was writing that song. Even though that sounds a bit corny, it was like such a. I think that's the. We've done that a few times now, but that was the first time ever happened where it just clicked, and I think the lyrics were just all about the love for that as well as being like it was of course about the beach date, but there was like stuff underneath it metaphorically. I think that was just more about like love for what we were doing.
You guys have a gig.
Yeah.
Where in Manchester is it?
Lions Den in Manchester. Please buy a ticket.
November 28th.
It is 18 plus, but if you look old enough, you'll be fine.
But yeah, Kaleidoscope comes out the 28th, so make sure to. Can you pre-save it on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere?
I think you can. We've had a bit of a mess up with that one, so we'll just. You can stream it on the 28th of November. That's what you can do.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Stream on 28th of November. But first, here is Ivory by Freight.
Dance around with old friends, a story that never ends. You whisper into my ear, those words will disappear. I walk you back to your place so I can fan the flames to the fire you create. Makes me warm, makes me say it's you. All I know is you. Yes, it's true. All I know is you. Me and you by the beach, watching tides. It's so windy, hand in hand. Beautiful eyes, I'm wondering how you are mine. How I love you from the heart. My jet engine, it won't stop. You'll always hear it far away, close to you. It's all the same for you. All I know is you. Yes, it's true. All I know is It's you. All I know is you. Yes, it's true. All I know is you. It's you. All I know is you. Yes, it's true. All I know is you.
That was Luca and Ted, everybody, and honestly, what an incredible story of them two. So interesting and such down-to-earth, lovely guys as well. But speaking of incredible stories, the Locks, a rapidly growing band in the northwest area, just like Freight, will be performing later this month. I'm not sure about dates just yet, but make sure to go on their Instagram account to look when the next gig is. But first, here is Freight's single, The Only Thing I Know.
Oh, oh, the only thing I know for sure. The only thing I know is you. The only thing I know. See you in the corner of my eyes. This music is so loud. I glance at you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was The Only Thing I Know by Freight. Honestly, what an incredible track. Honestly, that was actually my summer anthem of 2025. It just defined the summer for me. It's just such a summery, feel-good song. But anyway, I've got a guest here today, which I'm very pleased about. Jason McDonough. Thank you for being here today, Jason.
No problem.
So my first question for you today is, what underground musicians do you listen to?
Oh, when it comes to underground musicians, I really like the indie rock industry, as I just think we're really getting to underrated pieces of music. They're the best. So bands such as Freight and Keo, as well as singular artists such as Freddie Hawken, are all great in that industry.
How do you usually discover new music or upcoming artists?
Discover's a weird word, but if we're on about app, I'd say Spotify, unless I potentially hear like a promotion on TikTok, but I'd say mostly Spotify, and I just album binge and listen to new music.
Have you heard of any local or new musicians that you're excited about?
Yeah, I brought it up in the top 3 most underrated right now. Freight are Warrington based and very local, and I think the stuff they're doing right now is great.
Have you gave Freight's new single a listen?
Kaleidoscope?
Yes, Glasgow.
Yeah, I have. I think it's great. I've heard it live twice.
Oh, very nice.
I thought it was great live. Yeah, it's not my favourite of theirs, but it's definitely up there.
Do you think it's hard for new musicians to get noticed today?
I think it's easier. I think the amount you have to work has got harder in a musical sense, but I think promotion-wise, I mean, it literally takes you to do nothing and a sound to just blow up on TikTok, and you can become popular overnight. So it's like, but yeah, promotion I think's got easier. I think musical talent, though, you need more of it.
What do you think new artists need most? Talent, luck, or promotion, or all 3 together?
Promotion is like sadly more important than talent now, 1,000,000%. If you've got the right promotion behind you, you will most likely be sorted. But for obviously people that are proper listeners of music, talent will always come first.
Do you think streaming helps or hurts small musicians?
It's in hindsight, but I think streaming probably does hinder new musicians actually, because no one goes on Spotify and finds these small artists. When you go on Spotify, you see Kendrick Lamar in The Weeknd. You're not gonna just find Freight randomly on Spotify, and you know that's sad because you should be able to see these up and coming bands on there. So I'd say because of how streaming works, I think it does hinder you.
Is there a genre or sound you think is having a moment right now?
Yeah, I'd say jazz. I think jazz is obviously like a big genre of music, but it was only really big in the 60s, 50s, 70s, and really over like the last 20, 30 years doesn't really ever get talked about as much. But I think it's definitely coming back. Like modern jazz is coming so much back into fashion now, so I'd say jazz or rap.
Nice. My final question for you today is, where do you see Freight in the next 5 to 10 years?
If they keep going the way they're going and they keep working hard, they've definitely got the talent to make it definitely more onto a global stage.
Very nice. I'd first and foremost like to thank Jason for taking his time out today to be here so I could interview him. And I'd also again like to thank Luca and Ted for coming today. But unfortunately, that's all for today, everybody. But I'll be back same time next week, and I'll be interviewing the Containers, talking about their biggest competitors and the struggles behind it. But before we go, I've got one last song to play for you all, ladies and gentlemen. Kaleidoscope by Freight, their latest single.